What's up, Kyuzou here, and welcome to my second video about my Phantasm on kill build. So this build was only really supposed to be a starter build to grind some smaller currency and set up the Atlas, so I could play something else, but for some reason I kept having way too much fun. And this is basically all I've been playing for the past week. I've been playing for a week about now? Yeah, I've been playing for about a week now. So this is all I've been playing, except for Delve, where I have been leveling my old Elementalist Ethnic Dead build, which will be the next focused on, well, YouTube stream, whatever. And by the way, it is still absolutely fucking insane. Now, this build is pretty damn fast and a surprisingly good lab farmer. However, I did try one upgraded offering and I more or less got one shot immediately, so I kind of gave up trying, but regular Uberlab is great. So, as I said, my main focus with this build has been yellow maps to farm chaos recipes, siege recipes, harvests, and tier 3 gem cutters from Alva. I have purposely stayed away from red maps, just so I could make it easier for myself, just to make the grind as fast as possible. And I also kind of never really imagined this build would be all that great for red maps, but I was kind of wrong. Now the only problem with this build is the single target. It is absolute dog shit. There are a few things you can do. For me personally, they're more theoretical, but yeah, there's definitely some improvements you can do for the single target, which is the only thing that's lacking on this build. However, this build is not really supposed to be a boss killer. So, I mean, this build can do pretty much everything except, well, Ubers, Maven and all that stuff, but the purpose of this build is to farm maps as fast as possible. Just zoom, 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 zoom. So can't really super complain about the single target, but it is a complaint. So we're gonna run this tier 16 here, and just to show you how the build looks, feels, and whatever, and then we'll go over my life's choices and stuff. So we'll pop that one in there. So the playstyle of this build is very, very simple. We desecrate and then we use an offering so that we can spawn some phantasms, and then we hit our Quicksilver and a phase run and zoom. And then we use convocation here and there to sort of place yeah, the minions a little bit better placement. So I'll just flip some gems. So tier 16 isn't exactly zoom 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 for this build, but it's respectably fast. Also we got beyond, so my audio is kind of bugging out there, and yeah, you can see the single target is absolute dog shit. Is the boss here somewhere? Oh, he's here. As you can see, absolute dog shit. So we're using whenever we want to focus on one target, we are using Signal Prey, which you probably can't see, which is supported by Predator. We'll snag that little map, and then we'll see if we can zoom some a little bit more in. Yeah, so basically you just hit Quicksilver and phase run, and the minions does the rest. You can see that I'm randomly gaining tons of speed, and you see these little yellow balls here on the ground, and that is because we are using the Blight gloves. And my Spectres all died. That was interesting. Okay, so we need to resummon those. I didn't expect that. Right, so, I mean, since I have to resummon them, what we are using is... Where the hell? We are using a Demon Harpy. We'll go more into detail about this. And we are using 1 Demon Harpy and 3 Redemption Sentries. Redemption Sentry. Yeah, the Spectres will be more in focus later. Now, we'll start with the passive 3. We'll zoom in a little bit here for the Ascendacy choices. We've gone for Commander of Darkness, which gives, you know, some attack and cast speed, extra damage, and it also gives me some extra resists. We are then picking up Mindless Aggression. Mistress of Sacrifice. This is so that offerings also affects me. Excuse me, where did that come from? Which makes it so that whenever I use Bone Offering, I get the block, and whenever I use Flesh Offering, don't ask me where it is, I get the extra movement speed. And then for the last one, we grabbed Plaguebringer, which gives my minions 10% more damage, and the enemies deal 10% reduced damage. So there are some small changes you could make here, but I think I will be talking about that a little bit later in the video. However, something to note is that Unnatural Strength +2 to level of minion skill gems does not work for Phantasm on kill, because Phantasm is a support and not a skill gem. I was actually running with this for several days before I realized, whoops, because I was leveling with SRS. So where do we start? So, if we take a look at my cheat sheet here, I have Anointed Ravenous Horde, which gives my minions more movement speed and Onslaught on kill. And I guess we'll just jump over the minion notes then. Where do we have them? So we're grabbing Destitutement for 1 additional Spectre. We are grabbing the Enduring Bond Wheel for, well, minion damage and duration. Duration is not super important. Duration is usually something I would prefer to grab, like you have duration notes over here, for instance. Skill effect duration, however, wouldn't be all that bad for this build, since I'm running face run. What else do we have? We have Sacrifice. Now this one node here is mostly so that my Spectres survive for longer. Then we also have Spiritual Command, and the classical, you know, Redemption, Righteous Army, in the Spiritual Aid wheel. So for the Anoint, I have gone for minion attacks overwhelm. Let's see if we can just... that means... Well, I actually don't really know what it does. I'm just assuming it's gonna help my physical damage. We also have Unholy Might on kill, which gives us extra chaos damage, and then we have minion increased crit. Now I don't have a base crit, like I don't have like a plus whatever crit helmet, so I don't really know if that's good or bad. Effective Offering would probably be better, technically, I guess, maybe. Jesus, I don't even know where my gems are, because it would give them more attack speed. So yeah, that's like the one node I'm really unsure about, the crit. As for the life nodes, I only went for the plus 50 max life here. Nothing else really seemed to, you know. What else? Yeah, mana node. So we are Mind Over Matter. That is our main defense, I want to say. So for the mana Anoint, I went for damage taken recouped as mana, and chance to recover mana when I use a skill. I do use skills frequently, I guess, on bosses. And I also use face run a lot, so if I do take a hit, then, you know, I will recoup that damage back as mana, and then, you know, if I use face run, I have a chance to regain even more mana, so that's nice. Let's see, and our secondary defense is actually block, so we do pick up some block here. Enigmatic Defense, Mystic Bulwark, and we are going all the way down to Whirling Barrier. So this puts my block at 46% for attack, and then 26% for a spell. I do have a, what is it, Searing, no, Eater of Worlds implicit for extra chance to block attack damage. Now there is a spell block version as well. I just didn't have enough orbs to try and get that one, so, you know, whatever works works. We are also using a Rumi. Holy crap, have they nerfed this flask a lot, many times. So if we pop the Rumis, we are up to 5732, and with a bone offering, which I rarely actually use, but the bone offering pops me up to 6343, and then if we add the flask, we are one away from cap on the attack, and then almost 50% on the spell. Good stuff. I think that is, nope, that is not everything. We still have a tiny bit more left on the tree to go over. Jewels, you basically just want flat fizz and then whatever. So this thing is absolutely amazing. Like, I have no idea what I'm looking at here. I just used Reforge Physical in Harvest, and I got this. That's basically what I've been spamming with Harvest, Reforge Physical, to try and get, you know, something. So we got Life Flat Fizz, and we got Movement Speed Flat Fizz, and some extra fire. Is that... Oh yeah, we have a thing over here as well. Increased damage if you use a minion skill recently. That does apply to offerings, because they do count as a minion. They do have the minion spell tag. Now, the most build enabling part of this build is going to be a cluster jewel here. Blessed Rebirth, which means minions created recently cannot be damaged. Because there are going to be certain bosses, certain rares, certain whatever, where they are just going to absolutely delete your minions. So with this, my minions are going to be immortal for 4 seconds. So, I mean, before I had the duel, there were so many times where my minions got destroyed immediately, and I just, for the life of me, couldn't spam my offerings fast enough to get more Phantasm. So I would say this is required. Now, getting 1 Blessed Rebirth is super easy. You know, you just Reforge Life and Harvest, boom, you're done. Or you could just Alteration spam, really. As for damage bonus, you do want Renewal. Now, minions have a 5% chance to deal double damage when they are on full life, which means, you know, with Blessed Rebirth, for 4 seconds, they are always going to be at full life. So this is my way of getting that little bit of extra damage. However, this combo here is a 2 Exalt duel, and I have used Pristine Fossils, I have used hundreds of Reforged Life crafts in Harvest, and I just could not get it, so I ended up buying this instead for 2x. One last thing, the Agnostic. I am actually running the Agnostic, so while not on full life, sacrifice mana per second to recover that life. So basically, all my damage is going to be taken from my mana, so my life bar is just always going to be full until I have no more mana. So this is insanely amazing in lab, for instance. You just run through the traps and, you know, take a wee bit of damage. You just pop your mana flask and you're good. This, just a personal choice. I really, really love this. Some people might not, but yeah. Gear. So the required gear for this build is the Soul Rest. So this thing, from league to league, the price of this changes constantly. Sometimes it's 1 or 2 exalts the first week, sometimes it's just an alchemy. This league, it was a chaos. I do believe a 6-socket went for 20 chaos, and in hindsight I should probably have spent the 20 chaos with the 6-socket because I ended up having to use way too many jewelers to get the 6-socket. But the beauty, the absolute beauty is you do not need to link the staff because the skill is in the staff itself. So you just need to put in the gems and you're good to go. So this is the required, the one and only required item. And then you just need like a 4 or a 5 link chest piece. However, for suggested requirements, kind of suggested requirements, whatever. Bubonic Trail. So what this does is triggers level 20 Death Walk when equipped. So if I just put Desecrate down and then I walk around, Death Walk is actually going to summon phantasms for me. This means that I do not need to stop, Desecrate, and then Offering to, you know, keep going in the map. As long as I'm killing shit, it's going to automatically resummon minions for me. Absolutely amazing. And then I bought these, Breath Stealer, and these are Blight specific uniques. They are currently going for 1 exalt. Maybe they've gone down a little bit, maybe they've gone up, I don't know, but they're about an exalt right now. So these are basically a mini headhunter. So like you saw in the map earlier, the yellow balls there, so whenever you kill a rare, it will, you know, spawn a spore. That spore does not move with you, so you only get the buff if you're near the spore. But this is absolutely amazing for ritual, beyond, blight, you know, anywhere where you have to sort of be stationary for a certain event. So I do absolutely recommend these. Other than that, whatever, gloves really. And I have the memory of an old man. I do not remember, but yeah, since these are blighted uniques, you can add an extra anoint. You can see I have an anoint here, and then I have an anoint here. So my second anoint I went for was actually down here, Freedom of Movement, which gives me 10% increased movement speed while facing. And we are using face run, and that is facing, and it also gives me some extra dexterity because I need that for face run. Face run is like a 155 requirement, I think. Yes, so you need a lot of dexterity to run face run. And then of course I do have increased movement speed if you have not been hit recently. And then I managed to get on the chest piece flask effect. I think I have flask effect somewhere else as well. Flask effect duration, yeah, so you know, just a Quicksilver alone, we're kind of zooming, and then add face run. So there are versions of Summon Phantasm on Kill where you use Cyclone, cast while channeling. That is not ideal for me, and that's not a playstyle that works for me because it's... If you compare it to cast on channeling, Phantasm is more of a boss killer, and this is more of a clear speed mapper. So gem setup, maybe, are we there yet? Actually no. Spectres. So the Spectres I am using currently are 3 redemption sentries, which you can only get from Redeemer influence maps. That is Veritania. And I am using 1 Demon Harpy. So the Demon Harpy is a Scourge League only Spectre, I believe. I haven't played for a year, so I didn't play that league. But in order to get that Spectre, you either have to use Phantasmal Desecrate, or you go to Global 6666. That's 4 sixes. And you ask nicely if anyone has a Demon Harpy. So what Demon Harpy does is it applies like a physical debuff, so that the mobs take increased physical damage, and that debuff stacks multiple times. And our Phantasms are currently more or less pure physical. They're doing pure physical, and our Redemption Sentries are doing... I actually don't know how much. I think they're doing 75% Fizz and then 25% Cold, or the other way around. But the base is on the Redemption Sentries is also physical. It's just they convert some of their damage to cold as well. But most of my minion damage is physical, so you definitely want the Demon Harpy. Like the first map I tried, the Demon Harpy, holy shit, it was like... I don't know how to explain it. Like the added damage she gives is absolutely ridiculous. So, before you can... a fair warning, no one, and I mean no one, is playing with Redemption Sentries anymore, so I could not... Like, I tried for like 4 days straight asking in Global if anyone could share, and no one could. So if you have a friend with a Britannia map, that would be nice. I ended up buying a map for 30 chaos just to get the Spectres. So before all of that, I was running with Solar Guards, which you can find in Act 8 in the Solaris Temple. The Solaris Solar Guard, I mean, they are really good, but Redemption Sentries are slightly better. Yeah, that's like the Spectres. There's a lot more I want to talk about the Spectres, but we can do that a little bit later. We'll just do the gem setup arena for now. So our main setup is 1 extra Phantasm on kill. So like I showed you in the previous video, like if we take out this just Soul Rest, my Phantasm caps at 10. You see, but if we add 1 extra Phantasm, it goes up to 20, and if you have a level 21, it goes up to 21. Now the Phantasm on support, like 21, is super cheap. They're only like 5 chaos. I think I paid maybe 2 or 3 for mine, but they're around 5 chaos. Super cheap. You do not need quality on it, because quality only gives you an extra chance to spawn a Phantasm, and we have a 100% chance to spawn, so you don't need the quality. We then have faster projectiles, which we swap out for slower projectiles on single target. I never really do this unless I'm in lab, and honestly I never really do it even in lab. We then have control destruction, GMP, minion damage, and then Predator. Predator then gives you an extra skill on your bar called a Signal Prey. You can't actually see because of my camera, but give Signal Prey. So what you do is you just use Signal Prey on that monster, and all of your minions are going to focus their attack on that, so that they're not just going everywhere. So if you have like an oh shit, I need to kill this guy now, that's an amazing skill. In our helmet we are using Clarity because of Mind of Matter, Flame Dash, and Flesh Offering, and you know, for rippy maps we use Bone Offering. And then we also have Convocation. Convocation is really nice to like move your minions around when you have to. Kind of like an oh shit moment, especially if you like kill a pack of bearers, and you know you want to move them out so they don't die. Well, especially the Spectres. In my gloves we have Phase Run with increased duration. We also have Spell Cascade set up for Desecrate, because without Spell Cascade we only get 1, and I can only, you see, have to do Desecrate, then Offering, Desecrate, Offering. But with Spell Cascade, it does, you know, 3 in a row, so I can do... I should be able to do 3 times, but maybe there's not enough space, but... Yeah. And in our boots, we are running our Animate Guardian. He is linked up with Minion Life and Meat Shield. Sorry, I just kind of completely forgot I had a jewel in here, so I wanted to see what I have. So my Animate Guardian setup is Dying Breath, which, you know, gives minion damage, and we are using Victorious Flight, which gives us, gives everyone extra movement speed, and we are using Gruskull's Pelt, which is relatively cheap. I think they're like 15-20 chaos. If not, you can use an Ambush Charge, which has a chance, if he gets hit, to give your minions endurance and power charges, I believe. And we are using the Leer Cast, which is also increased damage, and then Southbound Gloves for some additional life to that minion. We are using Ray Spectre, never mind the Anomalous, I just found it. Anomalous is more of a melee Spectre kind of thing, and I am not using melee Spectres. But we're using Ray Spectre with minion damage, GMP, Elemental Focus, and Feeding Frenzy, and for my 6th link I would use Predator. Or, here's something I've been dying to actually test. I would move out of Plaguebringer, these two, and then get Unnatural Strength, which gives +2 to my Ray Spectre, which bumps it to level 22. If I have a 21, ideally I would want to have a 21. That bumps up my Spectres to level 23. I then use an Empower here instead to push them to level 25, which then gives me 1 more Spectre, which means I can run 5 Spectres. So for that 5th Spectre, I would most likely run an Arena Master, or just, you know, 1 more Redemption Sentry, I suppose. But yeah, sorry, I fucked up with the gear. I just stopped here for some reason. But yeah, we're using Soul Rest. A random helmet, honestly. We're using Breast Stealer, we've been talking about that. We are using a, well, ideally one Ascendian Belt, so you can slap on as many Ghastly Jewels as possible. If you don't need to resist, ideally you would actually want to run the, oh no, I forget the name of it, but the unique version with 2 Abyss Jewels and effect of Abyss Jewels, because that is going to boost your damage quite a bit. However, I need a lot of strength, and I just, yeah, I needed a tiny bit of resist, so I went for a regular Stygian. We talked about the Bubonic, Amulet, Life Resist, tons of Dexterity, because we need 155. Chest piece, ideally, I mean, you can use whatever. You can run with a Tabla, you can run with a random 5-link. I went for an additional Spectre, because I want as many Spectres as I possibly can. These are actually relatively cheap, so I'll show you how you can search for this. So if you go on trade, so only chess pieces can have this maximum number of Spectres. So if you do maximum number of Spectres, and then you can go down to Fractured, and you just search. And like ideally, to make your gem setup a bit easier, you do want at least 1 energy shield, so that's going to list hybrids. This is interesting. Okay, I'm sorry, this is super expensive. I got super lucky because I bought this for 10 chaos. I kid you not, I bought this for 10 chaos. Okay, so what we do is we don't go for Fractured, because these are a little bit cheaper. And then you just grab, you know, whatever, something with open prefix maybe, so you can slap on life. So, you know, non-fractured, they are very cheap, I would say, 5 chaos roughly. Now, This video is fucking 30 minutes long. Oh my god. What do we have left? What do we have left? Yeah, the alternate, like for more single target. What we could do, what I've been thinking of doing is drop the 5 link, just run a 4 link with meat shield and minion life on our Spectres. The reason I would want to drop the 5 or 6 link is so that I can run hatred with generosity, so I could get even more damage. Right now I can't even fit in a non-generosity hatred. I mean, technically I could slap it in here, but this is kinda supposed to be a 6 link, so I would have to drop clarity, but I don't get the generosity. But yeah, so we make this a 4 link. Down here we then have hatred generosity. We then drop the redemption sentry Spectres, and we run chieftain, host. Wait, no, what are they called? Give me a moment. Host. Wait, what are the chieftain and host? The gorillas in Act 7. They're called chieftain and host, I believe, for the frenzy and power charges. So that's a lot of added damage. And then we add arena master and demon harpy. That would be our 4 Spectres. So that is just straight up support Spectres. That's pretty much what we can do for our damage. Honestly, yeah, the unique belt. I suppose what we could do is run Triad Grip. I'm not sure these days. I mean, with I don't think you would want to convert actually with Demon Harpy, because you would need all green, and that's also a problem because we don't really have a whole lot of green gems. Yeah, that's basically what we can do for single target. I'm so sorry. This was supposed to be a 10-minute video. But yeah, I think I have talked about everything I wanted to talk about. So I'll see you guys on the next video, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And hopefully I will not forget to make a PoE for this build. Ta-ta!